Yo, this Ken with the Ken and Lee Show, man.
This Lee with the Lee and Ken Show.
Hey, we here, man. We here in Los Angeles, California, man, with the homies from the Hundreds. So right now, I'm finna introduce.
Hold on. I gotta do this. You gotta let me do this one, man.
It's still my show. It's still my show.
We gonna talk about that later. Man, but we here with Jon Hundreds, man. Like we in the warehouse. We out here in LA. This is, man, I can't even explain it. Words can't express how we feel being here with him today. So we really appreciate him doing this.
Okay, it's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn. Back with Jon the Hundreds, man. He told you, I told you, Ken and Lee told you. So we're gonna let Jon tell you about the Hundreds. We're gonna let Jon tell you about the company, where it's going, where it's been, and how did it start, man. And also, he's a sneakerhead, so pay attention, man. Pay attention. Ken and Lee Show.
Lee and Ken Show.
What's up, everybody? Jon Hundreds. Over here at the Hundreds warehouse with my boys Lee and Ken and Lee Show. Chopping it up with them, say what's up, see what's coolin'. Let's get this thing started. So back in 2006, we'll start over there. My brother Ben and Bobby started a clothing company in 2003, and it was just, at the time, it was just a hobby for them, and I was just working, going to school, trying to graduate college at UCLA, and Ben and Bobby were at they were at law school, and I would just help them out, just getting things started with, you know, whatever help they needed, getting stuff printed, going to get stuff shipped out, and then gradually as things started to catch fire, Bobby started his blog. Everything was based around our blog. We were the first company to ever start a clothing company with a blog, basically blog based, that would show all of our fans what we do in order to, you know, run our company, so you can basically capture what it is that we've always done. But in 2006, when I graduated college, I didn't really see myself doing the major that I wanted to do, was sociology. I didn't see myself doing anything with it at the time. My brother needed help, and it kind of came to fruition with that. He just needed help, and I decided just to come along because I had been helping out here and there since the beginning. And so just gave it a try, and from there, it was more my brother needed help. I was always a fan from the start. I've always liked clothing my whole entire life, from shoes to, you know, just getting dressed up in a suit and my days working at Nordstrom. So in 2006, when I started out as the production manager for the company, getting all the t-shirts printed, placing orders for all of our cut and sew, our hats, our beanies, working and tooling with the clothing that we were making at the time. But the main part was making sure that we get all of our t-shirts printed correctly, because, you know, the bulk of our business at the time, and even now, is printing t-shirts. Over time, just continue with the production manager and just being my brother's right-hand man. And then about 2-3 years ago, no, about 5 years ago, we opened, actually we went and bought out our screen printers that had been printing all of our t-shirts and sweatshirts and everything. They wanted out of the game, they didn't want to do it anymore, so they approached us and said, hey, why don't you guys buy us out so you guys can control your own production yourself. And that's where I kind of went into, was to run all the production as well as the company as far as screen printing. So now I'm the CEO of Mixed Media Productions, which is our production house that handles all of our printables, all of our mainly all of our printables, all of our like cut and sew stuff that needs printing, anything that needs to get printed, we handle here, as well as printing for other clothing companies or any kind of printing at all, basically. In law school, Ben and Bobby were together. They met because they had a lot of the same courses together. So what happened was they they would always see each other in the library or whatever it was, and one day they both saw that like they were interested in the same things: sneakers, clothing, hip hop, same music, and all that. And then at the time, streetwear wasn't really anything. The only things that were out back then was Stussy, Supreme. That was basically it. It was more of the urban streetwear, where like LRG was really big then. Rockaware was really big then. Those were the big dogs back then. And streetwear wasn't really that big, so Ben and Bob were like, hey, why don't we start our own t-shirt company? And we started out as a t-shirt company, only printing t-shirts and making t-shirts, and base it around a blog that shows all of our fans what we do, basically letting a door open into our lives of how we can do it, and show everyone, you know, hey, this is what we do for a living, and nobody else in our industry at the time or in streetwear, you know, was doing blogs. And when we did it, everyone was hating on us for doing that, because that's the exact opposite of what streetwear is. Streetwear is supposed to be underground. And we took it and just flipped it and brought it to the masses and was like, hey, this is what streetwear is all about. You know, we have a voice. We want to tell everybody what it's all about. So in law school, Ben and Bob were just like, let's print up some t-shirts. So what they did was went and bought some t-shirts from American Apparel, because at the time American Apparel was the #1 t-shirt brand out there. Bought some t-shirts. My brother actually, it's really funny, my brother hit me up and was like, hey, do you know anyone where we can go get some t-shirts printed? And at the time, my boy from high school had just started his own little screen print shop in the back of his house. So I linked him up with my boy Chaos. Chaos got the t-shirts, they met up, give him the t-shirts, give him the designs. We get the t-shirts back, and all the t-shirts are printed wrong. Everything was printed wrong. So the first $1,000 that Ben and Bobby put into the company went down the drain. And you know, at the time they were hungry. They didn't, you know, I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that they were going to law school because that's what our parents wanted them to do. So it was more like, hey, we're going to go to law school, we're going to get our degree, we're going to go be lawyers and wear suits every day and hate our lives. Or we could try and start a clothing company, do what we like, make it a successful business, and then take it from there. At that time, both of our parents were not cool with it, because they're spending all this money on law school, you know, and they're like, what are you, crazy? You're going to go start a clothing company? You think you're going to be successful with a clothing company? Like, get out of here. That's a dream, you know? So while they're in law school, Bobby, obviously the other thing is too, Bobby's a really good writer. And at that time, there wasn't really blogs around on the internet in 2003. So, I mean, it was first of its kind. So he kind of broke the ice and the ground. He was groundbreaking for setting up a blog for a clothing company, like I said before, that no one's ever done before. And now every single clothing company has a blog, and they base it around that as well. Like, hey, look at us, or same thing with like Instagram. It's like, hey, look at what I'm doing. This is my clothing brand. This is what I'm all about. And it lets you look into their lives of what they're doing. So, you know, like, just, I want to say it was out of boredom. These guys were just bored in law school. They hated it, so they just wanted to find a way out. I think that's what it was. This was their way out, and they took a chance. And as they saw it grow, they were like, as they saw the company grow, they got less interested in law school. They both graduated law school. They got their degrees, and then just from there, they just took it. They took a chance, and you know, just kept going as hard as they could with this clothing company, and now it is where it is. And we're one of the biggest staples in our industry for clothing. The Hundreds logo, the bomb or atom bomb, was a figure that Bobby drew when he was in school. I'm not sure if it was I think it was when he was in college. or was in law school, but the actual bomb really wasn't our logo from the very start. We had gone through many changes. There was one that we had that we're working on called the Bread Man. We didn't like that. And then eventually started up with Atom Bomb, which is the cartoon character, and now it's just the little bomb. The idea behind that is that when you see the bomb, it's getting ready to explode, but it doesn't actually explode. So it's that you know, what you're thinking is basically that we're always at the top, ready to explode, but we just don't explode just yet. So it's Bobby was working on it. I think it was college, and it's just something that he's always loved from, you know, from the very start. And now that we're making more of it like a solid bomb, we're kind of phasing out Atom a little bit more and making it more of a logo thing. It's been since Atom's been introduced, it's probably been like 8 years, 9 years, something like that. And Bobby is more of the creative side of the business. He does. He is the creative director, but we also have a creative director, Pat, who does basically all of our themes for every season, all of our cut and sew, make sure all the graphics come out correctly. And then Ben is more of the business side of the whole entire business. And he takes care of making sure all of our retail stores are good, you know, all of our wholesale business is good. So it's a very cohesive partnership that we have between all of us, me, Ben, and Bobby. We treat each other like brothers. So it's been a good thing going on. A lot of the inspiration for the t-shirts strictly comes from Bobby, and we have a graphic design department that basically just pumps out design after design, and all the inspiration comes from Bobby. It's all his mindset. One of the most important things for Bobby is our graphic t-shirts, because our graphic t-shirts say a message in all of them. And it's a story that we tell through our graphic designs. And you know, first and foremost, since the beginning, we've always withheld ourselves to be a t-shirt company. Now that we've grown, we're not just a t-shirt company anymore. We're a lifestyle brand. And a lot of time we set the standard for what's, I want to say, cool right now. And he just has a vast mind of, I don't even know, to tell you the truth, what inspires him. Creatively, he's a genius, and he just comes up with rad ideas. And also Ben comes up with a ton of the ideas also. It's just basically what's happening. A lot of time it's what's happening right now in our world that we try to capture and put it on our t-shirts based on whatever the theme is for that season. A lot of the times we do stuff that's just store exclusive to our own stores, and that stuff has to do more with inspiration coming from the respective cities, such as our store in Santa Monica or LA, New York, or SF. A lot of the times we'll do flips on old logos from the teams, or just old stuff that has to do with like the city seal, you know, different things like that. So everything stays relative to what it is in those cities. I think it just has to do with anybody that I see wearing our stuff. To this day, it still puts a smile on my face. It still surprises me, because to me, it's almost like a dream, because I actually get to see the clothing being made, and being able to see somebody out in the public that I don't know wearing our stuff. That in itself inspires me to do better, to work harder, and even better when I see somebody on TV that's famous seeing our stuff. It goes to show how far along we've come. that goes to show that, like, you know, there's people out there that actually believe in what we do, and from a bigger perspective, respect what we do. And to me, when somebody wears the Hundreds, it shows that they have a connection with our brand to wear the name. So it makes me, you know, to this day, it still surprises me. It makes me feel good inside, you know. It's something that it's definitely not, you can't get used to it. Top 3 shoes that I actually did put up on Instagram was the Jordan 6 Carmine, the Air Trainer 1, those Bo Jackson, he rocked those, and the Infrared Air Max 90. Those are probably 3 shoes that I could probably wear for the rest of my life, no doubt. 2 shoes I wore this week were the Jordan 6, that Slam Dunk edition they just did, and those Wheat Air Max 1s. I wore those this week. I wore a pair of Supreme Air Force One highs that just came out recently. What else did I wear? What did I wear today? I wore something else today. Oh, some another pair of Air Force One Low Moabs I have. Shit, I don't know what else. Last year, I want to say probably, at that time, I probably had like 2,800. Now, I'm probably like 3,400, something like that. 3,400. But since what was it? So in July, I met a girl last year. Probably one of the, you know, this is just, it's a crazy story. I met this girl last year in July. Never met a woman like this in my life. I'm 32 years old now. And we hit it off, and 3 months later she was pregnant. It kind of took me by storm. I wanted to keep the baby, so did she. Since then, now that my baby's born, she's moved into my house. Things have changed for me. That's like the crazy part. Like, shoes used to be a hobby for me. I love it. It's a big time passion for me. But since now that I want to start a family, and I have started a family, that's become more of a passion for me. And sneakers just are not that big to me as I used to be. I mean, last year I was probably buying, on average, probably like 50, 60 pairs of shoes a month. And probably in 2012, I was probably doing like 100 pairs a month. And but since I started a family, it's not as big of a deal to me as it used to be. I still do buy shoes because there's still a lot of shit that I do like. But as like time is going on, and there's just too much stuff coming out, you know. And like you said, like, I don't know, it's hard for me to choose in the morning too, man. It's hard for me to choose in the morning too, but I just like sneakers. I like shoes. Ever since I was a little kid, my mom wouldn't buy me Jordans, you know, and my parents are well off. But my mom was like, I'm not spending no damn $100 on a pair of shoes that you're going to tear up in 2-3 months. So I think a lot of that also when I was a kid, mom not wanting to buy me Jordans, you know, she would always buy me just some, like, I don't know, cheap Pro Wings or something like that from Payless or whatever. Or, you know, some Adidas or something. And then as I got older and started making my own money and working and shit, I just wanted to have the dope kicks, always. So I've been doing this since like 99. Buying shoes since about 99. So the whole making our own shoes, all of us are sneakerheads. Bobby's a sneakerhead, Ben's a sneakerhead, I'm a sneakerhead. we all love shoes and we all wanted to make our own shoes. It's just getting into the shoe industry is very, very hard. And we just thought, you know, a shoe company is a completely different thing than a clothing company. And we just didn't think that shoes were our thing. And we kind of wanted to do more of a, right now we're working on a Reebok that we just did that we're putting on Black Friday. And stepping away from making our own shoes, you know, opens the door for us to be able to do a collaborative job with already established shoe companies such as Adidas and Reebok. A lot of the inspiration behind the shoes and colorways that we do does come from us being sneakerheads, absolutely. And a lot of the ideas and everything comes directly from Ben and Bobby. So it is exciting to see a lot of that stuff come to fruition, especially being a sneakerhead, because I mean, I want to say it's almost everyone's dream that's a sneakerhead to have their own sneaker if they could ever do that one day. And it's kind of cool being able to do that also because you can do it through Nike ID or whatever, but being able to have your company name on it, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Big shout out to you guys, the Lee and Kin Show, or the Kin and Lee Show. That's what's up. Big shout out to my boy Greg, Mr. Danube over there at Nice Kicks. Big shout out to you guys anytime. It was great meeting you guys. You guys are awesome.